everybody. Sending you some support for today and for the upcoming times as we enter into the fall equinox, which is on the 23rd. There's been some information coming into me today, and I've also been experiencing it myself, along with many other people that I'm aware of. You're very potentially understanding that the struggle is real when it comes to our bodies and our emotions and the clearing that is happening during these times. What I was told today, which is why I'm on here, is that the journey is ramping up in the sense of the ascension energies, but the impact on what's clearing through us. Okay, so in the past, it's been kind of measured, is what I will say. But what we have going on now is a ramping up. So having said that, I'm going to try to help you understand a little bit of what you might be experiencing, because it's kind of unlike anything we probably have experienced before. I'm not saying everybody's going to experience it in this way, but we are definitely in a time where, they just said collapsing timelines. See, this makes so much sense. And what we're doing is, okay, they just said the word encodements. See, this is our DNA shifting and changing, but it's happening faster. So you're going to likely feel potentially more out of sorts. I'm going to give you some examples. What they wanted me to tell you for sure was that we may end up with physical and emotional or emotional symptoms. We're like, it could be anything where we just we don't feel like we're even on this earth plane, or we're actually having physical manifestations, illnesses, diagnoses, it goes on, right? But what it is, and this is hard to describe, but what it is an energy moving through us that we have to go through, okay? Because what it's doing is it's presenting, for the most part, things that need to move through us as the timelines collapse and we converge with our soul fragments. And so that moves through us, through our energetic channels. And, it's also very individual, kind of depending where you're at on your self-care journey, where you're at on your spiritual work, as to what kind of happens for you. So I can't say there's a one size fits all at all. But what I will say is they've told me that as this moves through us, we can end up with, like I just said, physical, emotional symptoms that don't feel, how do I want to explain this? That feel more galactic or feel very different than what we're used to maybe before we went through our journey, or even in the stages before this part of the journey. What I'm also getting to, excuse me, is that these will move out of us, but to one degree or another, again, depending on the individual. But here's the thing, is what we want to try to do is recognize this. But here's the difficult part, is knowing whether, honestly, like, do I have a problem with myself, right? What's going on? That's the difficulty behind that, in getting the human brain around, wait a minute, I'm going through ascension. This feels different, and really like wrapping our arms around it and taking care of ourselves in the meantime when we're having these situations. I very much am getting ascension symptoms are going to ramp up. And like I said, I can't tell you what you're going to experience. You might just be cruising through this for whatever reason, right? Maybe, for example, I know a lot of past stuff is coming through for people, and we don't know that. Unless we know our past lives, which we don't know all of them, but unless we know the significant ones for this incarnation, and which are very few people that do, we're not going to understand what's coming through us. I'll give you an example. And I know this because I know my past lives for the most part, or at least the ones that are important right now, is I have, anytime I step on Native American land, like significant, even though all of it's Native American land, obviously, indigenous land, there's something that happens for me Okay. I'm also clearing a lot of very significant indigenous life experiences, which I thought were done. And remember how I said this? Well, just when we think we're done, another part of it comes back up. But mine manifests in the energy presenting itself in my body, which a lot of us are going to experience. I will tell you that right now. And mine has its own unique facets of how it presents itself. I will tell you, too, that it can be very difficult. And I want you to be able to lean into that and get the assistance that you need, metaphysically speaking, and or, I guess I would just say, some of us may see physical symptoms where we go see our, doctor. Not sure they're going to be able to necessarily tell you anything, but what can happen to you on occasion is these energies, the soul fragments coming back, the timelines collapsing, the clearing, particularly the clearing of when it's through our bodies, can create physical symptoms. Okay. But what I very much get is they're temporary. But that's the thing, is here we are as humans, there's no playbook for this. It's like, so what do you do, right? But really leaning into understanding that, and this is not to make you fearful at all, like, oh God, what's coming down the road? No, not at all. It's to go back again and say, connect in with your body, connect in with your journey, do the things that you need to do. And more than anything is what I'm getting now is balance is critical. Like, we cannot live in the ways we used to live, in the old 3D ways. And a lot of us are still doing that. I mean, and I'm not speaking to the collective, because that obviously is still happening. And granted, 2020 with COVID started to shift a lot. People's awareness really became heightened as to what serves them and what doesn't. But then did they go right back into that, right, after COVID? But the situation here is such that we are now in a time where things are happening faster. And I think we all feel that to some degree, which also means the rapid movement of energy through us, and whatever that means for you. It could be past lives of things that still need to be released. Again, you may not know what those are, and that's fine. You just got to lean into it. Find your practice that helps you. One thing that I will tell you more than anything that has assisted me as energy's been moving through me is breath work. It is key. Kundalini yoga is very helpful in moving energy, okay? Additionally, the 4 in, I've mentioned this before, the 4 in and the 4 out through the nose, 4 in slowly, deep, and then 4 out, deep, and then really letting that air out is helpful. But getting that breath work established and really, leaning into taking the time you need when you feel, I'm just going to say, off. And our feeling of being off definitely feels different than our human off, is what I will say to you. I think some of you are going to understand what I'm talking about. You almost have to experience before you can understand what I just said. But anyway, so the acceleration they just said is happening now. There is a ramping up. There is, okay. Have you seen, they're giving me a metaphor and I don't really know how to explain it because you almost have to see it, of collapsing. Oh, okay. It's like an accordion, but it's not. Like an accordion, how an accordion, you move it back and forth. It's like the collapse of that. And then the expansion, okay? And then the collapse again of that and the expansion. And so we're feeling that, right? And we're moving into even more of what I will say is okay, they just said dramatic movement toward the end goal, which of course is Ascension. And but what's happening now, I really want you to understand this, is the stuff in the body that needs to move through. The stuff we've housed in the body, because it's all within us. And sometimes I'll sit there and I'll think, okay, do I have an attachment? Do I have an entity? Blah, 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 blah. And that's a whole other conversation for me because I do land work too. Well, I did land work. Anyway, point is there were some things happening there. But guess what they were? They were aspects of me, old things that I had dealt with that in past lives, as well as souls that I knew that were clearing through me, most of it was my own stuff. And as I started to realize it was my own stuff, I just leaned into, I've got to go through this. It's like you got to go through the knothole to get out to the other end, because we cannot continue to live in two things, cannot continue to live in the way we have previously in our current human habits, in the things that we're doing, in I'll even say the relationships we have for some of us, right? But we also, at the same time, cannot live with what we have housed inside of us for eons in our cellular memory of trapped emotion, trapped trauma, trapped energy, which that all is, right? And that's coming to the surface. It's coming to the surface in illnesses, like, just all of a sudden, and things falling apart. Some people are having, like, literally the whole physical thing happen too, and then the 3D human stuff, like, break down. I don't know whether it's relationships or work or whatever's happening. So it's a lot right now is what I will tell you. And it's very much what I'm getting. Oh, I just heard driving us toward the end of the year. Okay, driving us toward the end of the year. All right, so I know I've talked a little bit about this, obviously, in the past couple months, but it's accelerate. I just keep getting the word accelerating. All right, and again, we're getting pulled. I keep getting this visual of being pulled to the equinox, which is the 23rd of this month. Okay, and that's also causing, in many of us, going to cause, what they're showing me, it's going to cause, okay, so this is DNA related. All this clearing, these things you're noticing, all these illnesses, this is DNA. This is shifting and changing in DNA of what I'm getting, okay? And so our clearing work, our soul fragments coming back, our illnesses that we have that are odd and weird and this come out of nowhere, all of that is, they just keep saying encodements, right? Encodements, and it has to do with our DNA. It's up-leveling us is what it's doing. And we're going through, I will tell you this, and this is important to this, is we're going through, or they just said a window of time where, how to explain this? The veil is dropping, so we're able to see more, I will say. Some of us actually literally see more, but it's almost as though like you're traveling through a tunnel and then you're seeing other, like you're on a journey, you're traveling through the tunnel, and all of a sudden you're realizing, oh, I'm seeing things I've never seen before, as in, or felt before. Or so we're closer to, again, I'm having trouble explaining this. We are closer to energies that don't serve us too. We're seeing the dark, is what I will say. The dark. Remember, the dark is the light is the dark. I think we understand that, but it presents itself differently as in duality, right? So we want to love it and send it off with light and love. But anyway, point is, it's like we're traveling through, like in a car. Okay, this is, now they're trying to help me here. We're in a car and we're got the windows all rolled up and we're looking out. We're able to see all that. We're able to see all the, oh, look at that. And you weren't able to see it before, if that makes sense. So we're traveling through that vortex right now of just the icky stuff, like outside our car window. And we're like, no, I'm staying in here. I'm not going to open my door, open my window. I'm staying in here. And again, your vessel is your car. You taking care of your car, or is your car going to break down, get a flat tire, run out of gas, you didn't change the oil, and you're going to sit on the side of the road and you're going to have to get out and you're going to have to confront those energies, right? I mean, not to put fear in you at all. I'm not saying that, but it's a really good metaphor. It's a really good metaphor. So, but regardless of how good our self-care is, we still have to clear through this, but it's how it clears through us. So do some chakra work, do some energy work, take care of yourself, get your rest. If you're not feeling well and it continues, I will say, go see somebody, right? Go see someone. Do your energy healing. What else? Get out in nature. Breath work. Watch your diet. Watch your diet. We're becoming more and more sensitive. You cannot eat the way you used to. You cannot have the habits you used to. And I know I sound like a broken record, but I'm going to tell you right now, we will suffer for it down the road if we keep trying to do the old thing. So out of this, what I would say to you is hopefully this is providing you some comfort, even though it sounds like, oh God, what's coming along? But that's not my end goal. I'm just trying to very much explain what's happening so you understand it. It is a journey we are all going through to one degree or another. And what I will say to you is nothing to fear. Lean into what is presented to you. Take the time you need for yourself. All the things that I talked previously, but we are in an acceleration period like, honestly, I've never seen before. And people are getting really hit with the things that maybe they ignored. They know they've needed to take care of, but you know how we are, right? As humans, we all have that stuff. May still be running the fast track, the old 3D, and not understanding we can't do that anymore. Maybe their habits are still the same, right? We all have something, I will tell you that. Maybe we're not taking the time to really understand what's coming through us. Now, you may never literally understand what's coming through you, but being able to just send it, what I always do is give it light and love. Give it light and love. Even if you don't understand it, give it light and love, right? And then just sit in quietude. They always talk about this. Sit in quietude and breathe. And breathe it out. Ground in yourself, okay? Or ground in the earth. Ground yourself in the earth, all right? So I just wanted to let you know what we got coming up. I wish you a happy September equinox. We're starting to see our fall show up here in Iowa. I'm getting ready to go on vacation next week, going up to northern Minnesota with my mom. I'm going to spend 6 days on 2 lakes and just sit, read, and honestly, for the first time in a year, do nothing. Anyway, I just really wanted to stop in here before I do leave on vacation. I will see you in probably another week and a half, 2 weeks. But I hope you are enjoying the moving into, in the U.S., the fall season. And obviously, in the Southern Hemisphere, you guys are going into your spring season. So yay for you. And that said, don't forget purplerainhealing.com. If you are interested in working with me to assist you through your ascension and spiritual awakening journey, I am here available to help you through distance energy healing, spiritual awakening, mentoring, and individual channeled sessions that can assist you, giving you more information for your journey forward, including practical advice. So that said, I will see you in the next video. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you took a nugget away from this video. I'll see you in the next one.